Okay, why do men cry less? Part 2. In part 1, we talked about the tear ducts being larger, we talked about precarious manhood, and we talked about the dependency gap. Today we're going to talk a little bit about hormones and how they impact things. And there's been a lot of work done on this years ago. I mean, like 1980s, 1990s, a guy named William Farrell wrote a book called The Mystery of Tears. And he looked at the possibility that prolactin, which is a pituitary hormone, impacted tears. And women have more prolactin. And the more prolactin you have, apparently, the easier it is to cry a lot. In fact, there's apparently pathological situations where you got so much prolactin you can't stop crying. Men, on the other hand, have less prolactin, and he also felt that testosterone limited those tears. It muted the tears. So it's kind of a two-way thing. The prolactin pushes the tears, the testosterone drops it down. I want you to think, guys. I want you to think back when you were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, something like that. Could you cry? Did you cry? Did it feel all right to do that? And I bet most guys would say, yeah, when I was 5 or 6, I could cry. Man, I followed the Washington Senators when I was 5 years old. They lost almost every game, sometimes excruciatingly lost. And I cried, so be it. But when I got to be 12 years old, the tears dried up. The tears stopped. Interesting, right? I always thought, I was just trying to be a tough guy. I'm just trying to be John Wayne, whatever. But that's not the case, apparently, according to Fry. Because as testosterone goes up, tears go down. Think about it. When you hit 12 or 13, did your tears dry up? And the evolutionary people, of course, are thinking that one of the reasons for that is that men had to guard the perimeter. And when boys became men, you didn't want someone on the perimeter who was going to feel a lot and have a lot of tears. You wanted someone who was going to pull the trigger and do what he needed to do in order to protect the community. So there's a lot of connections with testosterone and tears. And the interesting thing is that, at 12 or 13, the testosterone goes way up. Then, about 25, 28 years old, it is at its peak, and it starts to decline after that. Slowly it comes down until when you're the age I am, the 60s and 70s, your testosterone's much lower than it used to be. And frankly, the tears can come back. It's much easier now as an older man to have tears. And I think part of that is due to the old testosterone and what it's doing inside of us. So this is yet another thing that women do not have a clue about. They have no idea what kind of experience it is for men not to have the tears. Now, it doesn't mean the men do not have the sadness. The men do have the sadness, but they don't have the tears to release it. And once women figure out that that's the case, they start to be pretty compassionate towards men. Once they realize that men have the same emotions, but no tears to release it, you see compassion coming. So hopefully more women will find out that this is tough for men. And the next part 3 of this, we're going to look at some very unique ways that we now are starting to see that testosterone may in fact be connected to men's fewer tears than women's. Men are good, as are you. We'll see you.